Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Cecil in the City. It is a wonderful day in South Carolina. I'm just kidding, it is not South Carolina. If you're looking for South Carolina, you are on the wrong channel. This is Cecil in the City for New York. I am here to give you another rental tip on your apartment search. So this video today I wanted to make about I'll be polite in saying the selective searcher instead of saying picky searcher. Those of you who are looking for something truly unique, this is for you. I wanted to give you a couple of pointers. Essentially, I have a couple of tips that I think will help you out. So let me start with the first one. So the first one may seem pretty obvious. It would be if you're looking for something really unique and you really want to, keep searching and searching until you find that one very unique spot. The first tip is to start early. Now, again, this may seem obvious, but the one caveat I have here with start early is that you need to be willing to let your lease overlap. So, of course, when you're looking at ads and you're calling brokers up and you're telling them what your move date is, let's say you want to move December 1st, but it is now October. Every phone call you make, you're going to have the agent in the leasing office or the agent or broker tell you you're starting too early. But you need to point out to whoever you're calling that you are willing to let your leases overlap. And that's because most rentals are very, very, very cookie cutter. It is very tough to find something very unique and take it. And the one thing that doesn't always match up is the date. You might have your lease end at the end of November and you're looking in October. The apartment that you found is perfect, but they need something for an immediate tenant. That's the one caveat you need to go with, is that you have to go into the search willing to possibly let your lease overlap, especially if you need outdoor space and the building has to accept your pit bull, the 5 pit bulls you may own. And that's one thing you really need to go in and do, is be willing to let your lease overlap, or actually move after your lease ends and have something planned for the space you're going to occupy between the two leases. So that's the first tip. Start early. Not so obviously, you need to be willing to let the lease overlap, or have the lease start after your move date, with plans to stay somewhere else in the meantime. I'll never forget the clients that I have who, again, that pit bull example. I had a client that had 2 pit bulls, 60 pounds, looking for a 2-bedroom, fantastic budget, but was pretty picky. And what that person didn't realize is that with 2 aggressive breed dogs, he wasn't starting his search early enough. And that's the first tip: start early and be willing to let things overlap. Second tip is be aware of how to use the search tools. I think if you've watched any of my videos from before, by now you may realize that almost none of the listings that you see online on the listing aggregators like New York Times, Naked Apartments, Craigslist, with the best intentions, we put those up to be real apartments, of course. At least I do. I can only speak for myself. But as I've mentioned in more length in other videos, by the time I'm done taking pictures in the morning, to the time you see the listing in the evening or the next day or even a week from then, the apartment is almost guaranteed to have rented. So more or less, though, that ad that you're responding to is meant to represent, if you call me, this is something I could get you. Maybe not this exact apartment, but this is what I could get you. So the point is, know how to search use those search tools with this in mind. And the tips I have with using the search tools with your very picky search is basically, instead of looking at these ads as specific apartments, look for the agent that has the most ads that look like what you're looking for, or in the area that you're looking for. So if you happen to spot an ad posted by Jimmy Smith in the West Village, instead of calling and asking questions about that specific apartment, you could actually look up, especially in Craigslist, ads by name, and look up Jimmy Smith and see how many more ads he has in the West Village, to see, okay, is this guy an expert in the West Village, or did he just discover this one apartment that, again, every agent could show, and happen to list this one thing and he knows nothing about the area. And that'll really help you. If you're looking for outdoor space and, Larissa Cruz happens to have an ad with outdoor space, look up Larissa Cruz and see if she has a lot more ads with outdoor space, and then you know that Larissa Cruz specializes in outdoor space. She'll probably be able to find you what you want quicker. So that is the second tip. Look these ads up in a different way. Rather than looking for specific apartments and calling about that specific apartment, look up the management company or the specific agent listing it and see if they have a lot of listings that are very close to what you're looking for. And The third tip I have is make sure you know what you're looking for. Make sure you know going into it that it exists. An example I have for that one is a girl came to me looking for. She wanted an apartment in the sky. She wanted to be on like the 40th floor, and her favorite location was the West Village. Well, I'm here to tell you that the West Village is a very historical location, and there are no high-rises with 40th floor apartments. So she was very adamant about it, but little did she know that doesn't exist. Not in the West Village, not in Greenwich Village, not close to Washington Square Park. Most of those buildings have a limit of about 15 floors, if I'm not mistaken. And that's what I mean by know what you're looking for. I've had other clients tell me they want to be in the financial district, but they want something with lots of character. And that's also something that's very tough unless you're going to live right at the seaport on like Peck Slip or something like that. Most of the buildings in the financial district are in these brand new shiny high-rises, or are in these old office towers converted to residences. You're not going to find pre-war character and charm in the financial district. So again, another example of what I mean by starting your search, knowing what's out there and knowing what you're looking for. And I'm sorry to tell you that if you've done your research online and you've done your research using the New York Times, using Craigslist, using Naked Apartments, that's not real research, and take that from an expert. We call the internet and those listing aggregating sites La La Land, actually, and then there's the reality of what's actually out there in the streets. If you're going to do your research online, make sure that you're on a website that is owned and managed by the actual owner of a building or apartment. Those websites are websites like Rose Associates or Rock Rose or TF Cornerstone. They're not New York Times where there's no address in the listing. You need to be using a site that is managed by the landlord. And that can be a lot harder. I mean, the whole point of the listing aggregators is to make things more convenient and have everything in one place. But remember, those ads are almost always rented, or they're there to represent just a general idea of what you can get if you call that person who listed it. So again, know what you're looking for and know how to find it, and go into your search knowing what really exists and what doesn't. And this will reduce frustration in your search and make it a lot more pleasant. So there aren't any character-filled places so much in the financial district, and you're not going to find the brand new shiny high-rise and be on the 40th floor in the West Village. That's just two examples. And the fourth and last piece of advice I have is, it kind of relates to the very last one again. Know your limits. Again, you're going to use the internet and think that your research is thorough when you're searching for what you can afford in your price range. I'm here to tell you again, you need to ask friends, visit actual buildings, visit the websites that are managed by owners and management firms to know what's in your price range. Let me just give you a piece of advice and examples. 2 bedrooms in a doorman building listed for $3,000. Well, you're going to not want to call that number unless you're searching with roommates. That is a flex too. The doorman 2 bedrooms are 44 and up. Another thing about knowing your limits is the dog example I gave. It's going to be a little bit tough to be very, very picky if you have 2 Doberman Pinschers over 80 pounds and you need outdoor space. The best advice I can give to somebody like that is the first place you see that works with the outdoor space and accepts both of your 80-pound dogs, take it. That's solid advice. You don't need to see 20 examples of buildings that can take 2 80-pound dogs, because the reality is, unless your search is all over Manhattan and not even to 1, 2, or 3 specific neighborhoods, you're not going to be able to see 20 buildings and 20 examples of apartments that have outdoor space and accept 2 Doberman Pinschers. So just that's the piece of advice I have is know your limits. So just to quickly recap. First piece of advice is start early and be willing to let your lease overlap or have the next lease start after your first lease, just to find that perfect spot and not try to have the date match up perfectly. Number 2 is use the search tools properly. And number 3 would be know what you're looking for, know what truly exists before going headfirst into the search. And number 4 is know your limits, know what you're looking for. Anyway, I hope this helped. I hope your search is made more pleasant and shorter and quicker and more efficient because of this clip. For more advice, come back to my channel, Cecil in the City. Have a wonderful day and happy hunting.